2 men were killed, and a woman was left clinging to life by a knife-wielding maniac who went on an unprovoked random stabbing spree in Manhattan. Monday morning, Mayor Eric Adams and cops said, the blood-covered lunatic, a homeless man, 51, with 8 past arrests in New York City alone, was identified and cuffed by a hero cop thanks to the help of good Samaritans, including a cab driver and a British tourist, said NYPD Chief of Detectives Joe Kenny and sources. Police have no other suspect, Adams said during a Monday afternoon briefing. Today, we have 3 innocent New Yorkers, just going about their lives, who were the victim of a terrible, terrible assault, he said. It is a clear example of the criminal justice system, mental health system that continues to fail New Yorkers. The sickening spree left a 36-year-old construction worker and 68-year-old man who was fishing dead, Kenny said. The third victim, a 36-year-old woman, was stabbed multiple times and remained in critical condition. Monday, he said. The bloody attacks erupted around 8:20 a.m. when the killer walked up to the construction worker in front of 444 West 19th Street in Chelsea and knifed him in the stomach, police said. The construction worker was rushed to Bellevue Hospital where he died, cops said. A blood-stained blue towel remained on the sidewalk where the victim collapsed hours after the senseless attack took place. Screams from a woman pushing a stroller alerted a doorman to the stabbing. The doorman told the Post he just missed seeing the suspect run off. She had a little kid. She was hysterical, the doorman said. The construction worker was stabbed 10 feet in front of her. She saw him stabbed twice with a kitchen knife. The sinister stabber ran off south down 9th Avenue, police said. About 2 hours passed before the violent menace moved to 500 East 30th Street, near FDR Drive and the Water Club, where came across the 68-year-old man fishing in the East River, Kenny said. The crazed assailant stabbed the fisherman several times before running off, Kenny said. The victim was also taken to Bellevue Hospital, where he too succumbed to his injuries, the chief said. The third and final stabbing unfolded in the shadow of the United Nations building at East 42nd Street and 1st Avenue, Kenny said. The 36-year-old woman was knifed multiple times in full view of several witnesses, Kenny and sources said. Blood remained on the ground. An ambulance rushed the grievously injured woman to Weill Cornell Medical Center, while several Good Samaritans contacted cops, sources said. A British tourist and UN diplomatic security personnel who witnessed the stabbing helped track down the suspect, sources told the Post. A cab driver who also watched the attack and believed it to be a robbery followed the stabber and alerted Officer Robert Garvey, who caught up to the suspect at 46th Street and 1st Avenue near the Turkish mission to the UN, Kenny said. Once Officer Garvey was alerted that this perpetrator was possibly involved in a crime, thinking that maybe it was a robbery, he detained him. And obviously at this point, information is coming over the radio. The detective squad gets involved, Kenny said. We start putting the pieces together and realize it's part of the 3 attacks that have taken place this morning. As of right now, these attacks seem to be unprovoked, that he just walked up to them and began to attack them with the knives. If Officer Garvey was not there, these random acts of violence, this person conceivably would have continued those random acts of violence, Adams added. So, he saved the lives of fellow New Yorkers. The suspect's clothes were covered in blood, and he carried 2 large kitchen knives covered with blood, Kenny said. Sources said the man, a resident of the Bellevue men's shelter, had a long trail of recent arrests and 2 mental health incidents in which police responded. His rap sheet includes 5 burglary arrests going back to December 2023, along with a petit larceny collar that month, mostly in Manhattan, sources said. He also was arrested for assaulting a corrections officer in May, according to sources. In October, the alleged stabber was arrested on a grand larceny charge after prosecutors said he stole a nearly $1,500 acrylic bowl from a shop in Tribeca, sources said. Court records show he pleaded not guilty and was released on bail with non-monetary conditions. He also pleaded guilty to burglary and assault charges from 3 separate cases in recent months, for which he received jail time, sources said. Adams said it's unclear why the suspect was back on the streets and called it a systemic failure. There's some real questions that we need to look at on why he was on the street, and he has some severe mental health issues that should have been examined, and that's what we're looking to spot in the investigation, Adams said. The perp also had an extensive criminal record outside the Big Apple, sources said. Cops in Union City, New Jersey, arrested him in January as a fugitive from justice, as well as a suspect in a theft, sources said. Hoboken police arrested him around that time on 2 counts of criminal mischief, according to the sources. He also was arrested during 2017 in a Cleveland, Ohio assault case, sources said. Florida authorities had arrested him several times going back to 2003. Charges against the suspect were pending as of Monday afternoon. Additional reporting by Reuven Fenton,